President Trump said something interesting in the Oval Office the other day. Listen to
Worse
this.
than Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter died a happy man. You know why? Because he wasn't the worst president. Joe Biden was.
Now, of course, Trump would say that, and his MAGA followers, well, they just love that stuff. They just eat it up. Just one problem, though. The men and women who study the American presidency for a living, historians, political scientists, and so forth, they have a very different view. Now, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but what do the people who have made their study of the presidency their life's work? Again, historians, political scientists, authors, and so forth. Let's take a look at a couple of detailed studies. The first is from C-SPAN, the nonpartisan channel that's been airing political coverage since the 1980s. Every time there's a new president, they survey people from around the country, again, historians, political scientists, authors, and so forth, to get their view. And full disclosure here, I'm one of the people that they survey. In 2021, Joe Biden had just taken office, and we were asked to rate all the other presidents, Washington through Trump, on 10 very different categories that together define presidential leadership. Here they are, the first 5: public persuasion, crisis leadership, economic management, moral authority, and international relations. The other 5: administrative skills, relations with Congress, vision, setting an agenda, and pursuit equal justice for all. Finally, performance within context of their times. So 10 very different categories, and presidents are only human after all. Some did better in some categories than others. Who do you think made the top 5 greatest presidents? You can probably guess these. Here's what we found. The 5 greatest presidents, no surprises here: Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Franklin D. Roosevelt was 3rd, Theodore Roosevelt 4th, followed by Dwight Eisenhower. Those are the top 5. Again, no surprises there. Now, the bottom 5, the 5 worst presidents, they are William Henry Harrison, Donald Trump, Franklin Pierce, Andrew Johnson, and the worst president of all we found, James Buchanan. Now, the C-SPAN survey was from 2021, so it did not include Joe Biden. The next one will. Now, for Trump's claim that Jimmy Carter had been the worst president ever, well, he was ranked number 26. Not exactly one of the greats. He's in the lower part of the middle third, but he's still 15 places above Trump. Again, that's based on those 10 different categories. Meantime, another survey, Siena College in upstate New York, also does this. They judge presidents on 20 categories, very similar to the 10 C-SPAN categories I mentioned, but they added others such as family background, luck, willingness to take risks, and avoidance of errors. Very interesting categories as well. And here's what they found. Again, their 5 greatest. No surprises here. FDR, followed by Lincoln, Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, and number 5, they said Thomas Jefferson. That's a pretty good list. Now, at the bottom, kind of similar to what we found in the C-SPAN survey, the order is mixed up just a bit here. Franklin Pierce, Warren Harding, Donald Trump, James Buchanan, and the worst, they said, was Andrew Johnson. No surprises there. Now, what about Carter? Well, he was 26th in the C-SPAN survey. In Siena's, he's pretty close to that, 24th, in the middle of the pack or so. And Joe Biden, well, he ranks 19th. Now, again, you may agree or disagree, but both of these presidents, again, based on a long list of leadership categories, are well ahead of Donald Trump. So when he says,
Worse than Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter died a happy man. You know why? Because he wasn't the worst president. Joe Biden was.
Well, is that what he might call in other circumstances fake news? By the way, I'd love to hear from you. Questions, comments, suggestions for future topics. My email, paulbrandisproductions@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Also, be sure and check out my books on White House and presidential history, military history as well, and my podcasts produced by my friends at Evergreen and available everywhere.